Welcome to the Lost at Home podcast. Here are your hosts, Scott Bear and Jeremiah Johnson.
Welcome to the Lost at Home podcast. My name is Scott.
And I'm Jeremiah.
And we are back for episode 398.
398, baby.
I'm really glad we started putting the episode numbers in the top of the notes, by the way. Thank you for adding those each week.
Oh, yeah. In
the past, I've been like, hey, welcome to, I don't know.
I need it for my own sake anyway, and we're going to get some background noise from the cat who wants to knock everything off my desk right now. I'm going to go ahead and let him do it because it keeps him away from my face and us. So here we go.
Here recording in the middle of a snowstorm in Vermont.
Exactly, snowstorm in March. And Scott, you just barely got back from Mexico. By the time people are hearing this,
oh, it was like I'm actually leaving in the morning.
Yes.
But
by the time people leave this, we're staying ahead, so we can record. We can release one while you're out, without having to.
As of right now, I got to drive home in the snow after this, which shouldn't be too bad, and then wait it out till it's over, and then drive in the middle of the night to the airport when it should all be up.
Yes,
fine.
yeah, and then you'll be heading.
It'll be a little adventure before the adventure,
and then you'll be heading to a place where there should sure as hell not be any snow. So
I believe yesterday during the day it was 97.
Okay, so it might actually be almost
shockingly the opposite.
Yeah, like you might die getting off and getting hit with
heat stroke when I get off the plane.
I hope you enjoy / have enjoyed your trip. I guess
we'll catch up on the next episode.
Yeah, exactly. Cool. So we're jumping in to our standard show here. We do a lot of good fun stuff. I know, Scott, you like to get lost in thought from time to time, and it was funny when I was like, oh, this episode isn't going to come out for a couple of weeks. I hope Scott still remembers his lost in thought. I'm like, you idiot, we're recording it today. It's like he's got to remember it today. It's coming out in 2 weeks. So, but yes, you like to get lost in thought. And I wonder, sometimes you don't remember. You're like, hey, you added that lost in thought. But this one seems pretty fresh. So what do you get? You got
legally binding get well cards.
Okay.
Like, I don't think you should be able to give someone a get well card unless you really fucking mean it.
Oh,
and
okay.
if they don't get well, perhaps there's repercussions.
Oh, maybe you are, maybe you're held accountable if they don't get well.
Yeah, I don't know which way it would work. I just thought the idea of legally binding get well cards.
Yeah.
Like, you just don't give them out willy-nilly.
So it's like,
you gotta put a little thought into it.
And then when the person gets the get well card, also they have to sign it. So it has to be signed by both parties.
Yeah.
Because the other person has to be like, I'm willing to receive this getting of
so
well.
automatically it becomes a legally binding document.
And then the person, in order to accept it and even open it, they have to sign it. And then upon signature, it opens up, and then
it's open for litigation.
Yes, and then the person can go, okay,
I didn't get better.
This person means it, or this person doesn't mean it. Yeah, okay, I like it. Yeah, and so we are also, by the way, folks, because you're hearing this episode 398. We're hard at work on episode 400. It's going to be a fun one. It's going to be an interesting one. So I hope everybody is, waiting with bated breath and whatnot. So,
got a couple things in the can worked on.
Yep, I've got a couple of things even on that board right there that I
saw that when I came in. Yeah,
a couple of those are my plans for while you're gone. Those are things I can do solo.
Nice.
So I'm gonna get some stuff in the can.
When I come back recharged, that's what I'm gonna jump in.
Oh yeah, I think we're gonna. And I was saying, like, you gotta, like, and we can't promise anything else. We do empty promises all the time, but if you get lost in thought while you're there, lost in Mexico. You can, just have a Lost in Mexico segment on your voice memos. Send them to me. I'll start sticking them away. Don't be like, honey, we can't go on that fucking thing that we scheduled. I don't know what you got scheduled. We can't go to that Chucky restaurant, which you should talk about, the Taqueria Chucky. Because I've got to do Lost in Thought. But yeah, there's a cool spot.
I know we're not doing that Sky Bar that we talked to you about.
Yes, yeah.
We're not doing that after all.
Oh, you're not? Okay.
It's in one town away, and that town has had, in the last week, a shooting of a tourist and a kidnapping of one.
Okay.
So we're going to stay out of that town.
Yeah, you're bringing like a small white woman with you, and they think they're worth a little bit of money.
White woman.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no, of course they are. It's always for trafficking.
So we're going to stay out of that town.
They're not going to traffic you. You're like, they're not going to deal with. I mean, so you might get like lucky and be like, oh, with a dude, but yeah, like you're walking around.
Mexico's not unsafe, but also it's not the safest if you're dumb.
There are plenty of places that
don't go to dumb places.
There are places that are plenty safe because they're known to like
they want tourists to come.
Yeah, and
they want our money.
So that's where all the cops are hanging out. And even like the non-crooked cops.
Plus, we're at a luxury gated resort kind of thing.
Yeah. You can. So there are definitely places. I've seen the narco Satanist movies and read and we've covered shit like that.
Yeah, we're just being smart. Kelly did some looking around at the town. And she goes, crime went up really hard this past week. I guess we'll just skip that one.
Yeah. It's not worth the risk. And who knows? It could be better next time around. And just keep it on your list.
It could be just a one-off too.
Yeah.
Like it would be safe to go anyway, but just. Also, these people might have been dumb.
Yeah, what are the chances?
They might have done some dumb shit.
You also don't want the end, like your last words to be, what are the chances they're going to kidnap 2 white women in 2 weeks?
Yeah.
Oh, pretty good, actually. Turns out that last one, like, really, like, upped the ante because they were like, holy shit.
They got a taste for it.
Yeah, exactly. It's like when a dog bites a baby, you know?
It just
you
wants
gotta
to
put it
bite all
down.
babies?
And then you got to put all the white women down, and that's no good. This hurts me more than it hurts you, except for the
thousands of people go through that region every fucking day.
Oh, yeah, they're fine.
It's a weird one-off when something bad happens.
Yeah, but there's another one. There's the whether or not you're going there, but you talked about this awesome Chucky theme.
It's not awesome. Yeah. It's a dive bar.
Oh yeah,
taqueria.
I mean, the concept is awesome.
But yeah, it's a Chucky themed taqueria.
Yeah,
but it's not licensed, and it's got like life-size Chucky dolls. Fan Chucky art on the walls.
You know, it's funny you mentioned that because I got to look up the name of the movie because Vinegar Syndrome is releasing it for like the first time available to U.S. audiences, at least in wide release. Is apparently there was like a Mexican or maybe it was just a Spanish language, but I think it was a Mexican Chucky ripoff movie that came out in like the late 80s, early 90s, but it's actually supposed to be like aside from the possessed doll aspect of it, it takes a totally different turn. It's its own unique thing, but it's supposed to be like a really cool, like, oh yeah, we tried to rip off Chucky and jump on that, you know, like right after it came out, but we accidentally also made a pretty awesome movie of our own. So what is it called? I can't remember the name of it, but I will. I'll take a look for it at some point.
I watched that.
Yeah, it was on Bloody Disgusting. They mentioned it's coming out, and Vinegar Syndrome is releasing the some crazy 4K restoration or something like that they always do about these these weird movies. So I'm gonna take a peek for it. But yeah, I think if you just type in Mexican Chucky movie, pretty sure it was a Mexican movie.
I will look for that.
Yeah, but speaking of Australia, we're gonna move into the Ig Nobel Prize. It's the Ig Nobel Prize. A ceremony for weird stuff. All right, this time around, we're going to the year 2011. Of course, the Ig Nobel Prize, everybody, is a kind of a fun little ceremony. It has nothing to do with the real Nobel Prizes, but it's for kind of like fun, sciencey things. These things are actual studies and whatnot, but they're kind of silly before they are scientific. But a lot of them have scientific merit as well. And in 2011, the Ig Nobel Prize for Biology went to Daryl Gwynn and David Rentz for discovering that certain kinds of beetle mate with certain kinds of Australian beer bottles. So
Fosters.
Yeah. These
Actually, I don't know if Foster's comes in bottles. I've only ever seen in cans.
Yeah, me too. But who knows if that's like something for us?
Could be American. Yeah.
And I know they've got things. They have. I think they call like bottles of beer stubbies over there because they're usually like the the Red Stripe comes in.
Oh, okay.
They're I think a lot of their local beers are like that. I mean, I could be completely off base, but I know the term for some, at least that type of beer is a stubby. So
it's because they look like little sexy ass fucking girl beetles.
Yeah. Well, so that's exactly what happens. The Australian jewel beetle, Julodimorpha Bakewelly, probably Bakewelly, but I like Bakewelly.
Like baked Wellington?
Yeah, exactly. Is known for males mistaking beer bottles for female due to their shiny, dimpled surface. The discarded beer bottles along roadsides in Western Australia attract male beetles, leading to fatal attractions. And this is the saddest part, and kind of the saddest and funniest part of this whole thing is that the real females get neglected. So these real females are out there going like, "Hoo, boy, like, bitch, I got a big one over here."
And they got no beer bottles look like boys to also fail at fucking.
No, apparently these beer bottles are very specifically either that or the men are really fucking stupid. It's like they're these women like just sitting there like just out waiting, like they're kind of like at a hen party or whatever. They're like, "Look at those fucking guys over there. There's just these dudes running a train on this beer bottle." They're like, "Yeah, we can't find a good one, man. They're all so fucking stupid."
Nature's fleshlight.
But I actually...
it isn't from nature, so never mind.
Yeah, exactly.
Man's fleshlight, which is normally a fleshlight.
Well, and it's funny you mentioned...
Man made the bottles.
Man made the bottles, yes. So it's man's...
So it's a man-made fleshlight.
Man's other fleshlight. Man's fleshlight made for Australian beetles. That's exactly what it is. But I actually... I got in touch with our good friend Bruce, which we haven't spoken to for a while, and I actually had him read a poem that was co-written by AI, and just thought I'd go ahead and pipe that in right here. In a garden lush and grand, Benny Beetle wandered the land, until one night beneath the moon's glow, he found a bottle in the field below. This bottle, thought Benny, is my new girlfriend, a relationship I'll cherish to the end.
He danced around it, filled with glee, but fate had more to see. Along came a child, careless and free, who smashed the bottle beneath the tree. Benny watched, his heart turned to shards. His little bottle was broken, and so was his heart. Tears of Beetle sorrow fell that night, as Benny's troubled heart filled with spite. I'll find that child, Benny vowed with a tear, to avenge my girlfriend who was so dear. He followed the trail the child had taken, his beetle courage unshaken. But as he found the child in sight, his anger melted and heart took flight. And looks like the rest is missing here. Alright then. Right, let's see what I got here. His anger melted and heart took flight because the kid's dad was beating the living shit out of him. And he was a drunk old bastard. That's where the bottle came from. And Benny noticed that there was a bunch of more beer bottles around. So Benny just went and he fucked them all instead. Had quite the orgy there. This one red stripe bottle was licking his beetle balls, while a bottle of Bud Light rode his beetle dick. And then a Pilsner bottle shit on his beetle chest. And the kid fucking died that night, which made Benny pretty fucking hard, so he orgied again with all the bottles in the field, under the moon's glow. Yeah, that'll do.
All right, that was great. Thank you, Bruce, for helping us out there and taking the time. We're gonna hear a little bit more. We haven't heard from Bruce in like 100 episods or something.
I was
like
gonna
that.
say I'm looking forward to hearing about
but we've got an
too.
AMA coming from Bruce for episode 400, and people have been submitting a ton of great questions to ask him, and we're going to go ahead and get those submitted for you and get Bruce going on it. So, real fun one. It's going to be a pre-recorded AMA, so just like our podcast is, nothing live, unfortunately. But get your, hit us up on social media and get your requests in. If you have any questions for Bruce, any questions about Australia, any questions about just Bruce's take on anything, pretty much anything is on the table. So, enjoy. Yeah, Scott, that's what I got for Ig Nobel Prize. I think we got some web droppings.
We do. I found something online, and it doesn't have a news story attached to it, 'cause this is just me.
This is like more of a
the link goes straight.
The
link has no bullet points in your notes because it just opens up Amazon.
Yep, I noticed that, and I have it open.
So this is for the Holy Spirit board by Holy Spirit Games, Christian religious talking board for seance with planchette. This is a Ouija board specifically designed so you can talk directly to Jesus.
Yep.
Not one of those evil satanic ones where you talk to the devil.
It even says "Goodbye Jesus" on it instead of "Hello Goodbye." It's just "Goodbye Jesus." I do like the thought of the fact that I grew up Catholic. In most Christian religions, the Ouija board is like sacrilegious. You're not supposed to touch them. Seances are sacrilegious, not supposed to touch them. But it is funny because I thought what about every time you pray, it's a kind of a version of that. So I guess this is probably above board in their books because you're talking to Jesus and God, not some random spirit. You're not conjuring a soul down from heaven or up from hell, which is probably where they believe it comes from. I do like the thought of that just being something that demons definitely put this out because it's really just underneath it. Like in a movie or something, you peel it up and it's just a real Ouija board underneath, and she's like, "Oh no!" And it's really goodbye, comma Jesus. It's like goodbye, period. Jesus. It's like, it's actually saying the Lord's name in vain, right on the fucking thing. So this is a great board. I love the box.
It's like an infinity symbol with the letters around the symbol and inside of it. It only says goodbye Jesus, doesn't say goodbye and hello.
Looks like a lot more of a confusing layout for a spirit to navigate than a Ouija board. Ouija board is pretty intuitive. Like it's set up a little bit, not exactly, but it's
not QWERTY.
It's a lot more but it is a lot more like a keyboard.
Ouija boards aren't QWERTY, are they?
No.
I didn't think so.
I can't imagine they are QWERTY.
Wait, I'm gonna try to find a picture real quick.
QWERTY
No, they go A to Z.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay, they because QWERTY was definitely for typewriters and keyboards, and I'm guessing the first Ouija board was probably was the first Ouija board in the 19th or 20th century? I don't know.
The reviews for it are weird because some people are like, this is a joke and it's making fun of religion. And other people are like, stop downvoting it. This is great and it's great for religion.
Yeah. People don't know what to take.
Yeah, the takes are just all over the place. One person wrote a very long thing, and I like this. Word of warning. Do not use the board if you are afraid or scared of it. It's just a board with a very snazzy planchette, a very unique take on a spirit board, and I love it.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So, word of warning. Don't be scared. Don't be scared.
Yeah, don't worry too much about
I
it.
love that
man.
there's a review literally being like, don't be scared of this product. Don't be scared. I want to leave fleshlight reviews that say that.
Yeah.
Word of warning. Don't be scared of this fleshlight.
You know, I think
don't be scared.
This is good for religion.
Yeah.
Just to have everything have a religious bent every time you like. I think this is a
You
joke.
can just
It's
clean
bad
it with
for
holy water.
Yeah. Oh man. So I did a couple little updates while you were giving the last pieces there. The first Ouija board was commercially patented in 1890, whereas QWERTY was first on a typewriter that was first mass produced in 1874. So technically, there could have been a QWERTY Ouija board. They just chose to not use the QWERTY because it's not really a finger that's doing it. The whole point of QWERTY is like based on like what's
typing.
most efficient for the words language that we got.
See,
now.
a keyboard Ouija board.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Yeah, Ouija keyboard, yeah.
Ouija board. Ouija board.
Yeah, Ouija board. There we go. First new piece of content is a new product called the Ouija board.
One more 3-star review. Joke item, funny but not genuine. I thought this was a genuine Christian goofy gadget, but it's just a gag product. Should have known, gullible me. It's not as much fun, but hopefully gets a laugh. And then this 5-star review. Thank you. I love her Jesus board. Big love for Jesus Christianias represent. Jesus was very informative, gave me all the big answers, but I forgot to say goodbye, Jesus, and I think Christ is haunting me now. 5-star would recommend.
I was gonna make that joke too about like if you don't say goodbye, Jesus, Jesus is like, I'm just fucking here forever. Isn't that what you want too? You kind of want Jesus walking in the sand with you or something?
I just love that this exists, period. It's just a dumb, weird fucking thing. I bet a non-Christian made it up just to make money off Christians.
Oh yeah, and
it's
I
an
do love
atheist
it.
made it, I bet.
And the thing is though, now it's going to get both because there are definitely some people who think it's real and are going to be like, this is going to be nice, and then there are people who clearly are like, oh, this is a gag gift, and I'm going to go ahead and have it. So it's actually working both sides of the aisle and also confusing both sides of the aisle.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No. I read 2 reviews that both seemed like they were from the same type of person, gave wildly different ideas of how they liked it.
When you were reading that one with like the typos and stuff, which were probably, but being that it's a joke one, I wouldn't be surprised if it was intentional. But I realize nowadays the best, it used to be like, oh, this was probably written by a robot because it's so poorly written. Yeah. Nowadays you're like, no, this was probably a real, genuine, stupid human being because it's so poorly written. Because AI is so good now, it won't write that poorly anymore. It used to be a bot would only write like broken English, terrible, using the incorrect words and all this kind of stuff. Nowadays that shit is so good that if you come across like people like the teachers and stuff are like, we actually like, we look for like real like human mistakes in things now because nobody's perfect, and like the second you see, but now kids are like, okay, cool, I'm going to use ChatGPT and add a few mistakes.
Take 5 minutes and add some typos.
Yeah, exactly. Come on, so
take a comma out.
Kids, now I was reading. We didn't make it to the show because it's boring, but so I'm going to say it anyway. That's the way our show works. Is there was the way they were talking about how teachers and professors and stuff were looking to get back to the days of like handwritten stuff, which is funny because they kind of stopped teaching handwriting because they were like, we'll never need that again. And now they're like, okay, kids, we're going to handwritten reports now. And they're like,
there'll be a handwritten AI thing soon.
Yep.
Where it'll write out your thing, and then when you go to press print to get it on paper, it's like, which kind of handwriting would you like it printed as?
And the other thing too is like that. I mean, that would still be like recognizable. The only thing it really is, if you're gonna have to write it anyway and come up with it, just still have ChatGPT come up with it and then just
rewrite
copy
it. It'll be faster to copy.
Yeah, because it's like if
have it dictate slowly out loud to you.
Exactly, because if you're doing that, then like no matter what, you're gonna have to write it anyway. So you're still taking a big chunk of the time.
Have AI write it. Yeah. Have AI then have your browser then just slowly dictate. Set the speed low so you can keep up.
I'm guessing they're gonna probably like start going back to the days of where they request like materials that you use, like outlines.
No more papers.
You know, just
no more essays.
Yeah. Honestly, fuck it. Just done. We're done. Chat, like, OpenAI,
or mini ones you have to do in class. Like if there's an exam, you have to sit there and write the 3 paragraphs.
Yeah.
Like it's right there in front of the teacher.
Yeah, which are just quizzes. Yeah, I mean, just I guess more to rely more on, which sucks because testing and quizzing is like one of the bad things that often like is a bad part of that. But it sounds like we might need more on site, or yeah, exactly. Like do all your preparation at home, blah blah blah. Come with your materials, then come in and write in front of us. That kind of. We're gonna have to treat people like they're fucking like hostages to make sure they're not cheating, or just let them fucking cheat, and then we'll just be left with a bunch of dum-dums who can't actually program the AI.
There you go.
Good.
Always thinking positively.
Bound to be in America. Great. You've got the next
couple,
two stories, actually.
All right. Leprosy is spreading in Florida. Speaking of Jesus.
Is it not from
Jesus
squirrels?
loved the lepers. Hey, maybe.
Oh, you know what?
You know what? Maybe Florida is godly and perfect.
It is.
And the rising of leprosy is to welcome Jesus back.
Welcome Jesus back. Like,
He's
give
gonna feel
him
weird-
something to do.
He's gonna feel weird coming back. Like, where are the lepers?
Where's the lepers at?
Where are the
That
lepers?
used to be my thing. It was that and like turning water into wine. Just do that one. Just do that one. We're fine without the leprosy. It's fine.
I turned lepers into wine.
Oh no. Oh yeah. Don't drink the water. It's leprosy.
Turn the water and the leprosy
Leprosy.
and the lepers into wine.
Yeah. Oh God, it's been a while, guys.
What I
I'm
mean
blessed.
is, the more people who drink the water, the more lepers, the more wine.
Boy, yeah, this is
Profits.
yeah, exactly. Kind of ahead of the whole church thing. I'm really into profits. Yeah. Sorry, guys, just a little rusty. Oh man.
Yeah, this is once again due to the policies of DeSantis and the wonderful things with anti-vaxxers.
I mean, it's especially is it the Surgeon General down there or whoever?
Yeah,
it
he's
was?
not even like a real doctor.
It was like a quack, a fucking anti-vaxxer quack.
Yeah,
And
like,
that was
like
where
the-
they scrubbed like all the like real information from the websites and wouldn't let you. Same thing with like climate change. Be like, we're just not going to mention climate change on the like climate website.
Oh, yeah. To speak of local stuff, I'm really psyched that we got our Secretary of Education from Florida.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. She's like some
didn't even
20-something-year-old blonde who only has worked in charter schools and is now in charge of all of Vermont schools.
Yep. Yeah. that
We
sounds
are
about right.
fucked.
Sounds about right.
Oh, yeah, and it's been touted that she worked in public schools. She worked in them since January of this year.
Oh, okay.
In Florida.
Yep.
So, no, she doesn't have experience with our school system, and we are fucked. But going back to Florida, where they're even more fucked because they've been dealing with this for years.
Oh yeah, they've been poisoning the well for decades now.
So leprosy is typically it was never eradicated. It's just been stamped down really hard.
Oh, we covered in fact it was in our song Squirrels. Years ago, in fact, I think it's more than once we've covered stories about animals spreading leprosy.
Yeah, armadillos, number one.
Armadillos was number one, and then squirrels we found were spreading them as well. I think that was over in the UK though, but it was I think it was the squirrels that were spreading the exact same strain from like the 1600s or 1300s. Like it didn't mutate in them at all, and like whereas every other I mean you can go
Passed
back and
down
listen.
from one family through the generations.
Generations of squirrels and nuts. That's it. But yeah, so this is so it does come up from time to time. It's just normally is not an issue because people have developed they're not as prone to catch it or it doesn't spread as wildly.
Yep.
But of course, when you're in a completely unvaccinated, unhealthy cesspool, not that I mean, there's plenty of awesome things about Florida, but clearly their public health outreach is not exactly top notch, as we've noted.
So these facts I have are from 2020 because science takes a while to figure out all their facts and get them written down on paper and peer reviewed and up there.
There's
So
a lot
it's
of data
slightly
they gotta
dated.
sift through. Yep.
159 new cases in 2020. 1/5 of them were in Florida, with 81% being in Central Florida. So
Okay.
it seems like there's a concentrated area where this is happening more than others.
Yep, they're fucking something.
They're still trying to figure out how it's getting this big because the transactions have been some from armadillos. It happens.
Yep.
But then just some people are just getting it, and they're not quite sure if it's from other people
Or if there's some new
maybe another vector, another animal.
Yeah, I was gonna say like another animal vector that we didn't even take in consideration that they haven't even tested yet. I'd be checking them gators. People are petting gators down there left and right. People fucking gators, petting gators, kissing gators, throwing gators through fucking drive-throughs, shit like that.
Yep.
People are touching
There's
gators.
something down there that's spreading it a little faster than in other parts of the country, with
Yeah.
so many cases being in
They-
one state out of 50.
They got that leprosy meth. They love that stuff.
Leprosy meth?
Leprosy, 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 leprosy meth.
It rolls together, actually.
Oh, it does, yeah, leprosy meth.
So yeah, basically all they're doing at this point is saying that people who catch it need to report it early. There are treatments. There's multi-drug treatments to get rid of it. It's not 100% curable, but it's near. If they catch you early enough, you're fine. But you gotta basically be like, I wonder if that's leprosy. Yeah, just go check.
Yeah,
Go to a doctor and go
Well, I
check.
mean, if
Don't
you're-
be like, I wonder. I guess I'll sit on it
Yeah.
for a week and see if it's COVID or not.
It maybe like with if you're in Central Florida especially, just be like, hey, there's a chance this is leprosy. Sounds like I'm curious. In most cases, it's probably pretty localized. I mean, I think there's probably a few
I
places.
wouldn't really
in
track
the,
it all down to one thing, like the Florida Man games. Like
Yeah.
that's
Oh,
like
yeah.
patient zero, epicenter. Like
Yeah. Cause somebody clearly had it, and then it definitely started spreading.
I forgot
Yeah,
what
the
part of Florida that was. now, if it was Central or Southern.
Yeah, I don't remember where that was. We did cover it, but that was a number of weeks ago now. But yeah, so well, best of luck to everybody with their leprosy. It doesn't hit you like it used to. It's not like the plague or something like that. That's what it was. It was something that was carrying the bubonic plague that we covered from the UK. That was the original 1300s version of it. Yes, that's right.
All right. Next story. This comes out of California, where they have a new law on the books that says you cannot show a suspect's photo. So if someone gets arrested, you got to give them some privacy. This is fighting back, I think, against those fucking ghoulish books that show all the people who get arrested.
Oh, dude, and those are just like mugshots. It's not even like after somebody's been found guilty.
Yeah,
like,
most of those people could be innocent.
They used to sell that at the Marshfield General Store.
I grabbed one from there because I thought it was hilarious.
I was like, what the hell? I'm like, are you kidding me? Just all these horrible mugshots of people's worst day. Probably people, and again, some of those people
innocent until proven guilty.
Maybe weren't even like found guilty, and a lot of them are just like things that people make a stupid mistake.
Literally pages of mugshots.
Yeah,
that's all the book is.
What are you? First of all, if you need that, you can just go online. Although it is nice that they're even saying that they're just protecting people's privacy in general. I mean, especially at least till they're found guilty. Like mugshots until somebody's found guilty. If somebody's found guilty, then they're going to be in the press and stuff like that anyway. But like because that can ruin somebody's reputation if somebody is falsely accused or if they end up finding being innocent. It happens with doxing all the time where people dox the wrong person. They're like, oops, sorry, we ruined your life for 2 weeks. And then most people don't then go on and go like, I should go on and see if the people I have in my brain that committed all these crimes actually committed those crimes. Yeah. No, people see it once and it cements in their brain and they're like, that guy's a pedophile. And then it takes somebody to be like, actually, no, turns out,
false report.
It was it was like, it was one of those classic misidentified pedophile things. He just has big glasses and a bad haircut, and he's a little creepy. And then, that's what happens. And they found some tiny little clothes in, but he's a ventriloquist, and he has a tiny little slut dummy that he fucking toys around with, and that's why he had tiny little underwear in his trunk, which also did have legs and arms in them, but those were ones that he bought off of eBay. He didn't murder anybody. I'm not talking about anybody specific. I'm just saying, leave me the fuck alone.
So, specifically, Marietta County, or police department in Florida, or California. Jesus, just talking about Florida.
Oh, yeah, no, Florida. And it seems
also,
like something...
it seems like a weird story, too, from there. But it isn't. It's California.
Although, because this is actually, doing something, positive for... people criminally charged, I definitely would not assume that was on Florida. I would assume this was a liberal state that was probably people are going to shit all over this one. Be like, fucking the liberal states won't even let us know who the criminals are no more, so I can't go stomp them down. It's like, sir, you're drinking and driving as you stormed the Capitol in 2021.
This one county decided to still post photos of people who were charged with nonviolent crimes, but replace their faces with Lego heads.
Okay.
Just with different comical expressions.
I love that
pirate
over
ones
versus just blurring, because that would have been the obvious thing. Pixelating, blurring, but no, this is...
And the public loves it, right? And I would urge any user, any listener right now to go online and try to find pictures of these because they're great.
Yeah.
But I did write at the very end of my bullet points, there was another link to another story. Lego has jumped into the picture and said, you need to stop doing this today. They're like, that's our product.
And you're putting it
on criminals.
Yeah, potential alleged criminals. And it's like, yeah, we don't necessarily want our children's product to be associated with this negative.
Yeah, I kind of saw that coming when I first started reading the article, and then I saw a link to another article about it. And I'm like, oh yeah, there's Lego coming in with their millions and millions of dollars.
I do love seeing the Legos with the Lego with the 5 o'clock shadow and shit, the droopy eyes, the sad.
You found something to look at?
Oh yeah, it was in the article.
Oh okay, I didn't open the article.
There was literally just one of them. Yeah. So it's this body of a criminal kneeling outside with his hands behind his back, and they put this one of this sad eyes and the mouth open with a 5 o'clock shadow. Yeah. I'm curious if it even looks
funny,
like
but they did.
Like the guy.
I'll give him credit, and I hope Lego doesn't sue. I guess I'm not a huge fan of the police.
I'm guessing this.
I feel like just tell them to stop.
This is a cease and desist. They're always going to send a cease and desist first, give you a chance to.
I was going to say not everything needs to be litigated to death.
Yeah, no, and my guess is I think a lot of times they have to give you a cease and desist before they can even sue. They have to give you a chance to be like,
take them down.
I didn't know I wasn't supposed to do that. that. I was given a
I
warning.
feel like anyone should know that that's a copyrighted thing.
Yeah, but I don't know. They're like, oh, it's public shit. Who knows? And
Well, like the Star Wars movie I made and put in my local theater is illegal. I just called it Star Wars.
Yeah.
Cease and desist. Take it out of the theater.
Yeah. Yep, exactly. Oh, yeah. Anyway, so I like some of these. It does not surprise me. When I read the article header, I was like, if it's really Lego, then that's not going to last long. If it's still up.
I was thinking that when I was like, I love making the AI images for our show. I'm like, oh, I want to do one like this, and I'm like, fuck, we could get a cease and desist for talking about it and then doing it.
Yes, true.
And talking about how someone else shouldn't do it, and then we do it.
Oh, exactly. Yeah. Just
do it as a show thing, as the show image.
And I think if you just write on the front, like, this is parody, and just like that, we can get away with some fair use parody law stuff based on the
possibly, yes.
Depending on what we're doing, yes. If it's purely using,
I think I wouldn't push my luck, and we can find other meat in this.
Oh, exactly. Yeah. Generally, you can just like if it's a question, just err on the side of caution.
Yeah.
Like because there's no reason to be like now an entire show is completely unavailable because we just wanted to do this one little thing.
Oh, if they force us to take down the entire show.
Yeah. And technically it'd be like, well, if you're using something copyrighted for
news.
Something like, if it's copyrighted and you're using it to promote your own thing and it's theirs, and that could be.
I think if we made an image, you would fall within. But I'm good. I'll find something else.
Exactly. I think we're good. Yeah.
Erring on the side of caution. You brought the next story table. I saw this one too, and I don't know why I didn't add it.
Yeah. Well, so this is interesting because you and I have covered a number of conspiracy theories on this show. We, of course, fell in love with the flat earthers for a long time, but we've covered everything because
we wanted to go to that flat earth conference, remember?
Yeah, we did, which is now it's like, I think it still technically exists.
Do they even do them?
Yeah. It's got to be in like...
just MAGA rallies?
Well, it used to be like in like a Marriott or something like that. Now it's definitely going to be like in a
bowling alley.
Yeah, exactly. Like I think it's probably hundreds of people show up now versus thousands because it really fell off very quickly. Like a lot of people went straight to the big debunking stuff. And I think a lot of those people moved over to COVID conspiracies too, where they're like, it's not like they abandoned it, but they're like, oh, I only have so much time to rant every day. I've got to rant about my liberties being stolen and not
enough time in the day.
Yeah. No, you're like, dude, we got to cover the things that matter. And right now, Bill Gates is personally coming by your house to inject you with a number of microchips.
Him and the ghost of Tim Apple.
Yep, exactly. Yeah. I also love the fact that like it's supposed to be going into our system via the vaccine, which, the vaccine definitely will shore up our system for a while. But I'm also like wondering, like, at some point, shit's just got to leave your body, which I guess maybe that's why they say you got to get a number of vaccines. You got to re-up your microchip.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because I was going to say, it's not like a subcutaneous one where, like, if they actually microchipped you, they put it under, like a cat or a dog. They put it under
your
the skin.
bloodstream. You have new blood every few days, don't you? Doesn't that blood cells are alive. They die and get made.
I drain myself on a regular. I drain myself and get some new blood in.
Get topped off.
Yep, exactly. Topped off with baby
Go to the
blood.
shop, get topped off.
Yep. But yeah, so there's a number of conspiracy theories.
Go to the old Clinton human garage.
just a vending machine with a Clinton vending machine. Just like, I don't know, I'm gonna take a black one today. Clunk clunk, and just crack it open like a makes the fucking nice sound and everything, and just guzzle, crush it on your forehead like a fucking bro, and just throw
good adrenochrome.
Oh man. So there's we've covered all these great things. So we have touched on chemtrails. It is a conspiracy theory, and the Tennessee Senate recently passed SB 2691. The House version is HB 2063, but it has actually passed the Senate, and their version is being sent to the House for consideration. And they are targeting quote-unquote chemtrails, a conspiracy theory about harmful chemicals dispersed in the atmosphere. The bill was introduced as a shell bill, which means they don't really put any substantive provisions. They'll cross out one number and put another one, and really it's a placeholder to meet all these deadlines. So they'd be like, oh, we have to get all our bills in by this date. We'll just put a shell bill in place, and when we're ready to actually put real language in, we'll do a strike-all amendment and dump the real language in there. So that way it gets around. It's great they impose all these rules, and then immediately legislators figure out ways to get around them to completely undermine the point of the rule to begin with, of course. So that's exactly what happened. In early March, they amended it to include, and this is the exact language from the summary on the state website. This is what they're telling us this really is. It prohibits the intentional injection, release, or dispersion by any means of chemical compounds, substances, or apparatus within the borders of this state into the atmosphere with the express purpose of affecting temperature, weather, or the intensity of the sunlight.
So this is more like a seeding of clouds thing.
Well, yeah. So this is like a big part of the chemtrails thing.
I'm sorry, they just didn't throw in with the intention of mutating our kids into liberals.
Well, no, because there's a lot of
chemtrails are making our kids trans.
Yeah, I mean, dude. I mean, and the other thing about it is like the fact that they do it way up there and they expect it to just disperse. I also love the thought of like them banning it like within the state, but obviously like if you're on the border and somebody from the other state doesn't ban it and they're chemtrailing all over the place, shit's going to end up in your fucking state.
Yeah, the borders don't give a shit about your planes and your chemtrails.
And your fake chemical shit. But so we've spoken, plenty about chemtrails, conspiracy theories. A little refresher: the theory suggests the government secretly adds toxic chemicals to the atmosphere via aircraft, believed to control weather and population. Harvard researchers have debunked this, citing no credible evidence and the impracticality of keeping such a program secret. According to Harvard, this is a quote from the article that I got it from. If there truly was a large-scale program which involved aircrafts, introducing hazardous chemicals, there would first need to be an operating system to manufacture, load, and disperse materials. Additionally, if such a system existed, it would require the work and cooperation of thousands of people, which would make it difficult to maintain a secret. It would be fairly simple for a single individual to reveal the existence of the program using leaked documents, photographs, or hardware, says Harvard. In other words, when
says
you get
Mr. Harvard.
Yeah, exactly. Johnny Harvard, who's definitely under the payment of big chemtrail, because that's exactly what
That's
something like
what
this
gets
would
with me with almost every conspiracy theory.
Yes.
It's like there's too many people and no one's good at secrets.
Look at like
No one's good at secrets.
And we have had like the ones that get leaked are generally ones. I mean, you had with the NSA one with Edward Snowden and stuff, like that got leaked. That's like the source of our intelligence agency. Probably one of the most dangerous things to leak. I mean, you become a fucking treasonous by doing so. And he was able to do that. And a lot of other conspiracy theories that like become real that get leaked. The reason that happens because they're really small scale, and it's like, or they don't get leaked and they don't get leaked for a while because they're really small scale. But like even with the UFO stuff, we're like, oh, why hasn't anybody said anything? You're like, oh, they have. It's just never been picked up by the media. Now, finally, the media is taking it seriously. Yeah. You look through all of history; it's fucking riddled with people reporting
tons of whistleblowers.
And they just get silenced, and the media's like, we're not going to cover these kooks.
So the media was pretty against UFOs until like COVID happened. And they're like, fuck it.
Well, yeah, and it's just like
we need to talk about something besides COVID.
And it was really like when the real whistleblowers, when you had multiple high-level government officials whistleblowing all at the same time and then showing fucking videos, which pretty much we have Tom DeLonge from the band Blink-182 to thank for that, because he was the one, he's part of a huge UFO whistleblower type program, or not just whistleblowers, but he got his hands on that stuff and also has a lot of money and exposure, and MUFON is fucking pissed at that because they're like, why don't you give us the stuff? And like, well, because you're not a cool rock star, dude. Yeah. Like this guy's got like fucking money and bitches and fucking a reach, and people listen to him. Like, you guys are a bunch of crazy kooks who've been holed up in your basement since the 1960s.
Blink-182.
Yeah.
What's that glow? I don't know. Is it a UFO?
Oh, you should take a look at we're going to be going out actually on a song that you created with one of these sweet AI programs. And you could probably type in Blink-182
style UFO song.
Yeah, or really pop punk style.
Pop punk.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely been trained on plenty of Blink-182.
Early 2000s pop punk.
Yeah, late 90s, early 2000s pop punk song about UFOs. I think you can make that work.
I'm gonna start going out on when we don't have actual things, like Jared doesn't make a song, or we don't have an old thing to pipe in, or a credible like an audio clip from the news or something. If we just have nothing, I'm just gonna whip up an audio song.
Yeah, and the song,
an audio song.
Yeah, one of the audio songs.
I caught myself like, fuck.
That's a guy who definitely only uses AI to make music.
Yeah, it's like those visual books.
Yeah. Yeah, those picture movies, come on now.
Video movies.
Yeah, exactly. So solar geoengineering, a study to combat global warming by reflecting sunlight away, has not been implemented. Experts from Harvard and Rutgers University state the technology for such large-scale intervention doesn't even exist yet. And that's essentially one of the things they were kind of using as the guise of like, hey, you guys are going to be doing this. We're not going to let you do this in our state. Even though it's funny because it's like about combating global warming. They're talking about doing, but they're like, oh, yeah, of course it is.
This is what, Tennessee?
Yes. Tennessee.
Yeah, they don't believe in global warming.
Yeah. And
Well,
and there's
climate change.
yeah,
Let's just call it climate change.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's
global warming opens yourself up to an argument that you can still win, but it's better to be clear to begin with.
Climate change. It should have been
start
climate
on the
change
higher ground. Don't have to defend yourself by climbing up.
Yeah,
you got to punch down to those dummies all you can. It's easy to do. They're overheated and can't move fast.
Unvaccinated.
I'd come over to kick your ass if it wasn't 99 degrees out in Alaska.
No, in Alaska, and I've got riddled with leprosy.
Oklahoma. What the fuck are you talking about?
Riddled with leprosy. Jesus Christ, man. Come on, give a guy a break. So, in short, and the thing about this bill, this is one of those ones that was definitely introduced because we got a bunch of kooks now, like a bunch of QAnon MAGA types that are in actual governments, especially local governments and state governments, even more so than federal government, which is scary because we got way too many in the federal government too, where it is a ridiculous bill, but at the same time, I'm looking at it, I'm like, okay, sure, if they're just outlawing something that doesn't exist yet, that they think exists, that actually should be outlawed anyway. But also, this is supposedly be, already a covert conspiracy theory. Do you think just putting a law in the books is going to go like, guess we can't dust Tennessee anymore, this covert conspiracy theory we aren't supposed to be doing anyway? I'm like, come on, man. What the fuck?
That is a good solid point.
Yeah, they're not going to the government's going to be like,
shoot down that plane.
Yeah, exactly. In Tennessee, there's going to be a whole state of it's like, Boeing's going to get
farmers shooting at it.
Yeah, Boeing's going to get fucking blamed for this one.
I'm legally allowed to shoot that plane. It's chemtrailing.
Yeah. Oh, God. Luckily, I'm pretty sure by the time you get to the point where contrails happen, the real thing.
I don't think a bullet's going to hit him.
A bullet's not going to get there. I think
it's going to be a hell of a shot, too.
Well, not only that, I just don't think...
Like, if you could arc it somehow.
I don't think a bullet's going to... I don't think it's got that. I don't get that pizzazz like that, dude. I mean, you need special anti-aircraft missiles to even get up to a low flying plane.
It's windy up there.
It is. That's
to blow a bullet.
Yeah, like somebody throwing grass up and then shooting off 6 feet to the left. Also, yeah, it's also going 700 miles an hour. It's where are you gonna aim? Yeah,
the wind is going fast up there.
So even if you're able to get a bullet to a plane, which I would have to actually look into, I doubt that's going to be the case by the time it slows down as it goes. Like, it's not like it stays on a trajectory. They did the Mythbusters where people were like, oh, if just watch it. People who shoot would shoot their guns up in the air, and then the gun would come down and shoot them in the head. And they're like, actually, in order for that to come down, it means it has to hit zero velocity at some point to then go the other way around, and then it's going to hit terminal velocity. It's the equivalent of dropping about a penny on something. So it would be like taking a bullet and just dropping it from upstairs. They're like, it cuts the skin, it hurts. You'll be like, ow. But it's not going to even knock you out. You're not going to get a concussion.
Really? Huh.
It's absolutely you essentially, it's sort of like the same thing with the Empire State Building penny thing. It's like terminal velocity happens really quickly, and it's only going to go a certain velocity. It's going to hurt a little bit. It might even cut the skin. It's not going to go through bone. You're going to be fine. So they myth-busted that one right up.
Neat. I learned something new myself today.
So at some point, even if it finally got there, it'd be sputtering along so slowly to just ding.
Yeah.
Not going to be doing, I got him, and then just blame it on Boeing. Cool. Blame it on the Boeing. Yeah.
You have one more story without... Is that your story?
That's not my story. No. And this directs to a French or Polish article or something. Looks like it's French. So I did not read it because I don't know French.
I added so last second, and it did have a translate on my
computer. I didn't bother.
It does not have a translate on my phone.
There's not... Yeah, I think there's...
I don't have a translate button.
Okay, well...
Weird. That was a super prevalent. I'm just good with skipping it then. Okay, I have no way of translating it.
Something. And the headline says really nothing.
Yeah, on my desktop.
Private parts shots for $100. Boudreaux sentenced to 6 months in jail. 107.7 Eastern Townships FM. Canada. Oh yeah, so it must be a French Canadian. It's Canadian top level.
Yeah, on my laptop, I was able to pop up happened. It goes, "Do you want to read this in English?" And I said, "Yep." And I remember it being just interesting enough to be a last story if we didn't have enough time or if we had too much time left. Yeah. And now I can't read it. So I guess we're literally ending the show wicked early today.
Yeah, we're doing all right. I think
it's fine. It's bad out. I got to get back home.
We're only about 10 minutes early by the time we're done. And we actually have a special song we're going out on. Scott, you were able to dig up. We talked about the warehouse in the last episode, and you were able to dig up this awesome theme song about the warehouse movie.
Dig up?
Yeah, dig up. Even though I just recently told everybody that it was
thing I made with AI.
Even though it was something I literally told everybody it's AI, I like then going backwards and go pretending it actually you dug this up. It turns out the warehouse movie really exists. No, you made an AI version of the theme song for this fake movie we made up last week based on your Lost in Thought. Yep.
So we're going to go out on Warehouse.
All right, everybody
I forgot the
enjoy-
actual
yeah.
title of the song, but whatever.
I think it's, we're just going to call it the Warehouse theme song, and we'll let you all have some fun with it. And we'll talk to you after / this is already after, but after you really get back from Mexico, we'll get a little roundup from you right before
Most
we hit
definitely.
episode 400. And in the meantime, everybody, get lost.
Get lost.
In the dead of night,